Mr. President, Your Excellencies, our graduation speaker, Dr. Axel Schweitzer, CEO of ALVA Group, trustees, honored guests, candidates for the award of degrees, members of faculty, I declare this 136th graduation ceremony of the Asian Institute of Technology to be now assembled. May I now request the President of the Institute, Dr. Eden Woon, to address the candidates and guests.
Congratulations to the graduates at this 136th graduation ceremony of the Asian Institute of Technology. When you entered AIT 2 years or longer ago, the world was in a different place. No one could predict in January 2020 what all of us would be going through in the past 24 months. You all spent most of these 24 months on AIT campus, and you must pat yourself on the back for persevering through a tough education during a very tough time. And you should be confident that having weathered severe pressure both academically and personally these past 2 years, you will be more than ready to confront new challenges which will face you after today. Unfortunately, what you are walking into is a perfect storm. This perfect storm consists of 4 storms coming together in the world at this historic moment. The first is the anti-globalization storm, which has been with us for several years now. Then came the COVID storm, which is still gripping the whole planet. Picking up speed is the third storm, the geopolitical tension storm, which affects much of the world, including in our region. Finally, there is the fourth storm, which has been with us for years, but not taken seriously, namely climate change. COP26 recently highlighted the urgency of climate change, and time is not on our side. I am hoping that at AIT, you learn something about battling the anti-globalization storm and the climate change storm. This is because AIT is a truly international education institution. And our motto is social impact with innovation. You learned about the science and technology of working with nature. You study management, which can be applied in many fields. And you made friends with classmates and staff and faculty from all over the world and gained a deeper understanding of how they think. Sure, you will definitely remember these last couple of years at AIT due to COVID. For overseas students, the stressful applications to get into Thailand, and of course the OQ. For all students, you will remember the strict campus measures, the social distancing, the frequent closure of activities on campus, and the hybrid instruction with classmates not yet in Thailand. But all of you will also remember that you have so far conquered the virus and learned about life and our planet immeasurably. The pandemic will end. The perfect storm will subside. But the world is perhaps forever changed. You must change with it, and I'm confident you AIT graduates can. But it is still the same planet that we all love so much, and it is the same Mother Earth which needs your care more than ever. You are the generation who truly matters, and I congratulate you for successfully preparing yourself at AIT to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our graduation speaker, Dr. Axel Schweitzer, is the CEO of ALVA Group PLC and Company KG, and Chairman of the Administrative Board of ALVA SE. Dr. Schweitzer has been a member of the Board of Directors of the holding company of ALVA Group, and since 2008, he has been Chairman of the Board of ALVA SE. Dr. Schweitzer believes that one key to becoming more resource efficient is to reuse raw materials, and that we must move away from simply disposing of waste and towards an economy that returns substances and materials to the recycling loop whenever possible. Accordingly, ALVA Group works in green economy, covering full range of recycling technologies and services, from licensing and consulting to recycling loop management to the sales of the raw materials. Since 2013, Dr. Schweitzer is member of the Speakers Team Greater China of the Asia Pacific Committee of German Business. As a native of Berlin, Dr. Schweitzer is socially committed to projects located in the German capital, especially for the Kinderleben, a registered association which promotes a hospital in Berlin for the children suffering from cancer, and Alba Berlin, the internationally well-known Berlin basketball club. Dr. Schweitzer earned his bachelor's degree in industrial engineering and his Doctor of Engineering degree from the Technology University of Berlin. While working in his doctoral thesis, he also worked as a salesman and technical consultant in Locarno in Switzerland. Mr. President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may I invite Dr. Axel Schweitzer to address the Assembly.
A very warm welcome from Hong Kong. I'm Axel Schweitzer. I'm the owner of the ALVA Group, and I'm very honored to deliver today your graduation speech, and I would like to welcome all of the graduates. I want to welcome President Eden Woon, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big honor, and I can imagine, all the hard work you've put into, receiving today's graduation, and I hope you can feel the joy of today, because that's a very special day, and as I said, you really worked for it and you really deserve it. So hopefully later, I hope you can celebrate and you can enjoy this day. And before we come to this, and before you receive your graduates, you have to live through these few speeches, and I hope that in the future, in the long future, when you hopefully remember today and maybe think back about this speech, there are two things I would like you to keep in mind, or I would be very happy if you would remember these two things. What are these two things? First, a future without waste is possible. That's one thing, and I will come back to that. The other one is, if you can think it, let's do it. And that's something I will come back to as well. And as you're all very familiar with the environment, I don't need to explain too much about the situation our world is in right now, about the CO2 emission, global warming, about all the waste mostly just dumped outside in the areas, in the rivers, in the oceans, in our landscape, and so you're all aware of that. So I don't need to stress that out. And what does it show? It shows that our traditional model of the linear economy, where companies try to produce as much as they can and try to sell as many products as they can to their customers, and that hopefully, what they think, they don't see them back. And as we all know, everything we produce today will end up like being wasted tomorrow. And I give you a little example, because we are now in our Asian leading electronic waste recycling plant in Hong Kong. And as you might know, us as Alba Group is one of the largest 10 recycling groups in the world, and the leader in recycling. I thought that would be a very good example to show you what can be done. But again, if you look behind me, you see a lot of washing machines in this case, and I ask you, who really wants to own a washing machine? I guess not so many of us, but every one of us probably wants to have clean clothes. So what does this mean? This means we should change our linear economy to a circular economy, meaning instead of just buying washing machines and then using them and then dumping them, or ideally like we do here, recycling them, the answer would be the circular model, meaning using digitalization. Because with digitalization, we can give every single unit an identity. A washing machine, a television, shirt, pants, shoes, whatever. And if we can give them an identity, we can track and trace them. So meaning, for example, in this case, instead of just selling washing machines, the circular economy could mean washing machines are given to people, can be rented or whatever. It's a matter of financing. But after 1,000 or 5,000, 10,000 turns, it will be taken back, and the material from that washing machine can be reused, and it can be repaired, it can be part of the new one, it can be part of the new innovation. So this means the raw materials, they don't get lost. And on that regard, for example, I don't know, probably you heard about the World Overshoot Day. In this year, 2021, that was on July 29th. What does it mean? This means us as humans, we consumed already by the end of July the resources they should have lasted until the end of the year. This means we are taking out too much and we are literally taking it away from the future generations. And that's why we need to make that change. We need to make it happen. And that will bring me to my second point I hope you remember about today. If you can think it, let's do it. And that, if you allow me, I would like to give you an example from my life, growing up in Germany. And then about 8 years ago, I relocated with my family to Hong Kong. And at that time, my oldest child, he was just 5 years old and moving from Germany with about, 5 to 7 recycling bins in our courtyard, coming to Hong Kong. And he asked me, "Dad, where are the recycling bins?" And I said, "Son, there are not so many here." And that was even a little bit exaggerated because there are hardly any. And then he said, "Dad, you need to change that." And I was really puzzled by that, because us as adults, grown-ups, when we think about things, then normally we think about all the challenges all the difficulties and probably why it's so difficult even to try to go for it. And while thinking about it, mostly we can get into that habit, it's not worth trying it. And I really like that thinking of kids. If you can think it, just do it. And in my personal case, that gave us the inspiration, and myself and for our group, for our team here in Asia and starting in Hong Kong, that we had the goal to become the leader of recycling in Hong Kong. And a few years later, and this is in one of the examples with the worldwide, or at least Asian-wide leading electronic recycling plants, and a few yards from here, plastic recycling plant, etc. So in a few years, we managed to become Hong Kong's leading recycling company. And from this, we are growing to Asia, because now the next goal is, okay, how can we become the leader in recycling in Asia? And starting our first projects in Indonesia, in Thailand, in Vietnam, and operating already in Singapore. So it's like the step by step. Hopefully we will get there, and that's something I would like to give you this example, because you're at the right point. You can make a change, and I hope you will do that, and I hope you can remember these two things I said. Future without waste, that's possible, and if you can think it, do it. I wish you all the best, and thank you, and all the best.
Thank you, Dr. Schweitzer. Mr. President, may I now call on the Academic Senior Chair, Professor Kyoko Kusakabe, to present the Academic Senate decision on the award of degrees.
Mr. President, recommendations for the award of the degrees to be conferred today were made by the Academic Senate on 16 December 2021 in accordance with procedures established by the Academic Senate and the Board of Trustees. The Academic Senate recommended 28 doctor, 174 masters, and 4 diploma students. You have confirmed the recommendations, and candidates will now be presented for the conferment of degrees.
Thank you, Professor Kyoko. Mr. President, I have the honor to present candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Engineering, Doctor of Philosophy, and Doctor of Business Administration. The degree of doctor is the highest degree awarded by the Asian Institute of Technology and is granted in recognition of outstanding academic and research performance.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degrees of Doctor of Engineering, Doctor of Philosophy, and Doctor of Business Administration.
For the degree of Doctor of Engineering in Nanotechnology, Kunal Sharma, with his advisor, Dr. Tanujal Bora. In Mechatronics, Supod Kyakon, with his advisor, Dr. Mongkol Ikpanepong. In Microelectronics and Embedded Systems, Popporn Danviru Tai, with his advisor, Dr. Mongkol Ikpanepong. In Water Engineering and Management, Dibesh Khadka, with his advisor, Professor Mukund S. Babel. In Geotechnical and Earth Resources Engineering, Salman Ali Suhail, with his advisor, Dr. Kuche Jha. In Energy, Pornchai Chawewat, with his advisor, Dr. Jai Gobind Singh. In environmental engineering and management, Lai Nguyen Hui, with her advisor, Dr. Ekbodin Winjikul. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, in Geotechnical and Earth Resources Engineering, Vo Thi Hai Kwan, with her advisor, Dr. Pham Hui Jiao. In Transportation Engineering, Sarawut Tasiri, with his advisor, Dr. Kunawi Kanitpong. In Transportation Engineering, Phatasara Sudha Wichayapong, with her advisor, Dr. Kunawi Kanitpong. In Nanotechnology, Uraiwan Weiwijit, with her advisor, Dr. Tanujal Bora. In Information Management, Jayalat Arachichige Don Janaka Jayalat, with his advisor, Dr. Bacharapon Isai Chaikul. In Computer Science, Chu Lianen, with his advisor, Professor Matthew N. Daly. In Remote Sensing and Geographic Information Systems, Apantri Peuneng Jumsai, with her advisor, Dr. Hiroyuki Miyazaki. In Disaster Preparedness, Mitigation and Management, Mahmoud Ali Mohammed Fadlallah, with his advisor, Dr. Indrajit Pal. In Gender and Development Studies, Song Changui, with his advisor, Dr. Joy S. Chatterjee. In Natural Resources Management, Pisit Tunti Pisitukul, with his advisor, Dr. Takuji W. Chusaka. In Natural Resources Management, Orawat Srisawat Sisti, with his advisor, Dr. Takuji W. Chusaka. In Regional and Rural Development Planning, Ratanana Kun Sedzananu Kulpong, with her advisor, Dr. Maqbul Morshed Ahmad. In Regional and Rural Development Planning, Hasina Akhtar, with her advisor, Dr. Maqbul Morshed Ahmad. In Regional and Rural Development Planning, Nge Thi Man, with his advisor, Dr. Maqbul Morshed Ahmad. In Urban Environmental Management, Susanga Uhawa Suta, with her advisor, Professor Vilas Nitibhatananon. In Environmental Engineering and Management, Chawalit Chaiwong, with his advisor, Professor Thamarat Kotatep. In Environmental Engineering and Management, Abhishek Kanojia, with his advisor, Professor Chettiyapan Vishwanathan. In Aquaculture and Aquatic Resource Management, A.A. Sujiwa Hemanthi Athukurala, with her advisor, Dr. Ram C. Bujel. In Aquaculture and Aquatic Resource Management, Suleiman Dawood Bello, with his advisor, Dr. Krishna R. Saleen. In Agribusiness Management, Chitra Lada Buncharon, with her advisor, Professor Anil Kumar Anal. In Food Engineering and Bioprocess Technology, Thatchajari Mala, with her advisor, Professor Anil Kumar Anal. In Management, Helio Brights da Silva, with his advisor, Dr. Bhimalwan Yukongdi. In Management, Mohammad Agung Sariatmo, with his advisor, Dr. Bacharapon Sukhotu. In management, Pabawan Sutiprasit with her advisor Dr. Vinay Ongsurawat. In management, Robina Rashid with her advisor Dr. Yusre F.M. Badir. For the degree of Doctor of Business Administration, Thamanon Chamjuri with his advisor Dr. Yusre F.M. Badir. Pham Huang Ming with his advisor Dr. Roger Livermore. Mr. President, Professor Dithat Rao, Dean of the School of Engineering and Technology, will present candidates for the award of master degrees.
Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty in the School of Engineering and Technology, I have the honor to present candidates for the degrees of Master of Engineering, Master of Science, Master of Engineering Professional, Master of Science Professional, and Diploma.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degrees of Master of Engineering, Master of Science, Master of Engineering Professional, Master of Science Professional, and Diploma.
In honor of the memory of our dear student, Naga Venkata Rama Saisri Ashra Onala, AIT hereby awards a postmortem degree of Master of Engineering in Information Management. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Computer Science, Abhinav Shinga, Vishal Trital, Hütto Lövin, Nishal Aryal, Kiran Dakal, Rajapancha Mujinansilage Pramod Vikramatrilake. For the degree of Master of Science in Computer Science, Prabin Neufen. For the degree of Master of Science in Information Management, Adanan Ali, Sarapon Shripamong. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Information Management, Rushi Shrestha, Rishi Jain, Tumala Razarangna, Ravula Greshma, Sowai Mo, Nutazit Pazukde, Urusha Rajkarnika, Alok Arshal, Shantanu Astaman, Kalapatu Venkata Sai Krishna Raja Shiva Kumar, Ruji Shingal, Venkata Chandra Swarup Mani, Vemulapalli Sai Rama Koteswara Rao. For the degree of Master of Science in Telecommunications, Rojetta Rani Barai. For the degree of Diploma in Telecommunications, Lingampelli Sridhar. For the degree of Master of Science in Information and Communication Technologies, Panchanok Roydyak Koikev, Vidya Eka Sandri, Pupin Ko, Megha Sharma. For the degree of Master of Science in Remote Sensing and Geographic Information Systems, Shanarun Saiwart. Dusade Pinasu. Yasumin Sripatan. Prin Shaibon Noleng. Nazira Shirsanovna Alimansanova. Kunladita Sranam. Sukanya Punsen.
Monshoshetea Chair. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Remote Sensing and Geographic Information Systems, Nyang Xian Lun.
Tontem Pudi Sivai. Manush Rao Nayak Utka.
Arundret Yenung Gula.
Mamit Venkat Pranavai. Gundabatina Mishak Rahul. Anyam Partha Sarandi. For the degree of Diploma in Remote Sensing and Geographic Information System, Kapalaseti Aditya. Manansri Siripun Prapu. Putam Abhigna Reddy. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Industrial and Manufacturing Engineering, Sune Lai Sanda. Sinwai Y Wet. Rujikon Mudinyanen Selage Aryunika Sandani Viryakon. Bandara Patin Ranage Supun Viraj Patin Ranage. For the degree of Master of Science in Mechatronics, Maria Marinella Mariano Gutierrez. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Mechatronics, Pongsaton Monde. Sirap Pop Prazetanaza. Priyawat Api Vantanede. Ati Pongpachana Vet. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Microelectronics and Embedded System, Srimonkon Potong Chang Raron. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Nanotechnology, Ulikate Sai Aditya. Aditya Gananvaram. Subakam Kumar. For the degree of Master of Science in Nanotechnology, Kayachap Ponpait Terazitwaraton. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Geotechnical and Earth Resource Engineering, Mut Tenko. Man Shu Kri. Bipin Singh Kaki. Tazavara Shansutam. Supavit Prarom. For the degree of Master of Science in Geotechnical and Earth Resources Engineering, Sun Lintun. Lamin Koko. Korn Kanok Sangri Prasad. For the degree of Master of Science in Structural Engineering, Dustin Glenn Cuevas. John Lawrence Sibogan Tuala. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Structural Engineering, Sadi Ria Alam Savumana. Nuchapat Teta Vatwong. Lumin Tan, Jobabindra Pudel, Binar Karna, Binod Sabkota, MD Shranindul Islam, Napat Kumya, Arbrisek Rekmi, Sivapalan Sivaram, Tanantip Klingfurlang, Titya Ruangsak, Raisa Tafsin Hussein, Jennifer Sultana,
Basanta Neufein.
for the degree of Professional Master in Structural Design of Tall Buildings, Sadaf Fatima. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Transportation Engineering, Tanut Vatanasup, Kuang Hut Lewin, PSSV Anurag. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Water Engineering and Management, Rayawal Neupen, Sonu Kumar.
Samuel Ronald Navamani.
For the degree of Master of Engineering in Construction Engineering and Infrastructure Management, Kan Muan Mon, Pron Mua Mua Min, Ai Bobo Ong, Mustayala Shiva Sai, Dinesh Surnur, Ong Peng, Virak Hong. For the degree of Master of Engineering Professional in Construction Engineering and Infrastructure Management with area of specialization in Project Management in Construction, Yasana Ong, Nguyen Lee Nat Vu,
Pham Van Nguyen.
Mai Hui Bao, Pam Lam Din, Mu Mu San, Tan Itaik, Kitat Kwang, Myeon Nang O, Myo, Tut Tut Ming, Lee Yu Hong Puk, Kao Song Hung, Trong Tran Van Dung, Yet Ang Kin, Muon Tit Kin, Kwai Tit Kin, Ding Tran Man Tuan, La Ring Seng, Kwai Sea Win, So Myo Tu, Win Ko, Tiet So, Nhu Nhu Win Tuet, La Myo Win. For the degree of Master of Science, Professional, in Construction Engineering and Infrastructure Management, with area of specialization in Project Management in Construction, Myo Min Kuo.
Thank you, Professor Trau. Mr. President, Professor Vilas Nitibhatananon, Dean of the School of Environment, Resources and Development, will present candidates for the award of master degrees.
Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty in the School of Environment, Resources and Development, I have the honor to present candidates for the degrees of Master of Engineering, Master of Science, and Master of Agribusiness Management.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degrees of Master of Engineering, Master of Science, Master of Agribusiness Management, and Master of Marine Plastic Abatement.
For the degree of Master in Agribusiness Management, Narawit Hawong, Sokarat Samnang. For the degree of Master in Agricultural System and Engineering, Kanokon Piromsi, Yutarat Sonprom. For the degree of Master of Science in Aquaculture and Aquatic Resources Management, Tolia Lelish Pafubai. For the degree of Master of Science in Food Engineering and Bioprocess Technology, Dang Bao Pam, Modisa, Ram Prasad Be Bata, Anurak Kurang. For the degree of Master of Science in Gender and Development Studies, Suban Kumar Chowdhury, The Wat Yi So, Yu Jia Ling, Su Nyen Wei. For the degree of Master of Science in Development and Sustainability, Nathanisha Chuang Noparat, Christiti Sitayung. For the degree of Master in Development and Sustainability, Sumaya Tabasam Ahmed. For the degree of Master of Science in Regional and Rural Development Planning, Prakya Thamadiya, Pammeyi Wasam, Laila Siddique. For the degree of Master of Science in Natural Resources Management, Mit Pu Mun, Win Mien Tien. For the degree of Master of Science in Urban Environmental Management, Wood Yi Miao Min, Nishapat Plai Plet. For the degree of Master in Urban Sustainability Planning and Design, Chen Kin Lin, Ting Sun Ling. For the degree of Master of Science in Climate Change and Sustainable Development, Marcelo Miguel Picho III, Prapak Sombat Piam. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Energy, Titima Wantong, Paisan Ungjaran, Natanai Si Sangkon, Nabin Babu Ocha, Shutirat Rương Chotipopan, Noparada Suti-Chak, Apichok But Kam Kong, Makara Great Meta. For the degree of Master of Engineering in Environmental Engineering and Management, Vanali Suti Wanit, Vilasini Jantaman, Chalungrat Tawon Bandit, Le Kia Ki. For the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Engineering and Management, Nisharat Sieng Pairo, Bong Kot Pon Micho Chön Ram. For the degree of Master in Marine Plastic Abatement, Du Duan Thong Tin, Se Yin Pu, Awan Pada Tose Pro, Sinenat Charu Warukun, Chanakan Thamawishan, Apirak Suwan Chaloi, Novena Rena Veronica Penkun, Kwan Kamon Chitrakun, Supacha Kuntong, Pandapon Chote Chatchawakun, Yin Nyen เมียดโรสลินอรุณวัฒนามงคลจัสมินทูมาดาติวเตอร์กมลชนกไกลนกกุณานนท์กงสมวัตินัทธิดาพุทธิวานิชธนันท์วัชราใหม่ภูรินาถรัตนชูโชตเกียวชินทันเงียนมินทังภรัญญาชนัยยารีโคเนนิสธนันนกุลนันสมดีอินทราดีไฟซาลอิบราฮิมชัดพรนันทกรแนบเงียนคงสนวันดุพงศ์สิริวิพานันท์เดวีคามินจันทิดาทีนาไดโซพีพานิชาจันรนักอภิเลียนิเดียรีนัสสีคันธรัตน์โคไทยพลโซคลินเมงยาดานาอูเจนวิทธรรมวิชันอภิสราพิชยานยนต์ธนวิทย์บุญโคศลเงียนฮงทูทรุกสุธิดาเกิดสุภชัยอิฟติคาอาเมดพรันธิตารีมอลคันเคอร์ทารินทัสินลาลารักเมมอนชิเมซีแฟรงค์อนวูดีโจฮัสซันโอลามิคันโอมาสุจนาทัสเนพูจาอายาวอาซิมาทบัสซัมกวินดากายานิกาเฮรัตคันนาทาสานรัชรัตนำฮาบิชดาคาวภริวชาเชตรากายตรีโกวินดาราจันวาลูเกมเบฟรานซิสบรัมดูลอักราวันสเตฟานีไลท์อุฟเดลอเดลบีอานิตาเอ็นเยเควอามิตาเอลคาวฟูรีเจเรมีโอติติรพิพัฒน์ธัญวัฒน์พรกุลสุชิลาเชตราเนลุนเดนียาเกสุมูดูนีลักมาลีเซเนวิรัตนเกรักชิตาชาธารังกาพารานายามาเกยูเวเนรีโจเซฟนิดาโบ Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty in the School of Environment, Resources and Development and the School of Engineering and Technology, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Science.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degrees of Master of Science.
For the degree of Master of Science, Professional in Disaster Preparedness, Mitigation and Management. นายโพเลียนนีดาบีโบชิวากะ For the degree of Master of Science in Urban Water Engineering and Management. ทินซิโพเซทูมัชยี
Thank you, Professor Vilas. Mr. President, Dr. Roger Levermore, Dean of the School of Management, will present candidates for the award of master degrees.
Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty in the School of Management, I have the honour to present candidates for the degrees of Master of Business Administration, Master of Business Administration Executive, Master in International Finance, and Master in Business Analytics and Digital Transformation.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degrees of Master of Business Administration, Master of Business Administration Executive, Masters in International Finance, Master in Business Analytics and Digital Transformation.
For the degree of Master of Business Administration,
Riwaj Chand, Swarnima Shrestha, Natnicha Prakamin, Asha Chaitap, Ratipon Riankit Chamras, Saluni Yangchang Lama, Kritika Paudel, Bantita Chumnum, Apolline Clucenti, Juliette Bissiao,
Arnon Tong Jai Tong, Carl Patrick C. Gonzalez, Divya Tripathi, Chetak Singh Ujjal Singh Pawar, Uyupa Mung, Janisha Manandar, Somya Bikram Rana, Kititad Orisun, William Pradier, Chofa Bupapon Kun, Din Te Kam Nung, Excelsis Jane Mahaba Lanot, Shreya Shrestha. For the degree of Master of Business Administration Executive, Leidok Hung, Leah Viet An, Dang Quang Kwok Chun, Nguyen Mun Huai, Vu Te Tan Han, Lei Te Tui Lan, Duan Tei Hui Lin, Nguyen Dui Lin, Nguyen Duk Lung, Nguyen Mun Tran, Nguyen Hui Fung, Truyen Te Hung Ne, Chun Quang Nun, Nguyen Te Huang, Duang Min Kun, Bui Wook Sun, Pham Sun Mun Tri, Nguyen Mun Tri, Trun Nguyen Tran Tuwung, Nguyen Quan Vun, Vo Nok Huai, Pham Te Sun, Nguyen Lei Dui, Due Hong Lei. For the degree of Master in International Finance, Sasiton Seyung. For the degree of Master in Business Analytics and Digital Transformation, Zinma Mei, Chen Ruitian, Surapranav Sukumaran, Urvashi Kumari, Nguyen Te Hei Swing, Prasansha Rana, Hetiare Chikai Kavinda Kunasikawa.
Thank you, Dr. Leavenmore. Mr. President, AIT alumni are very special people. Today's graduating class now joins over 24,000 AIT alumni professionals who stretch across the world to 6 continents into more than half the world's countries. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce one such outstanding individual, our honored alumni speaker, Professor Lei Chen. Professor Chen is a chair professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, a fellow of the IEEE, and a distinguished member of the ACM. Currently, Professor Chen serves as the trust head of the Data Science and Analytic program in HKUST, the director of the Big Data Institute at HKUST, and director of the HKUST MOE MSRA Information Technology Key Laboratory. Professor Chen's research interests include data-driven artificial intelligence, knowledge graphs, blockchains, data privacy, crowdsourcing, spatial and temporal databases, and query optimization on large graphs and probabilistic databases. Professor Chen earned his master's degree in computer science and information management at the Asian Institute of Technology, Thailand, and PhD in computer science from the University of Waterloo in Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our very own special alumni speaker, Professor Lei Chen.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guest, Professor Eden Wu, graduates, good morning. First, let me give a very warm congratulations to all the graduates. Congratulations, you did it. Now, let me thank Professor Eden Wu for his invitation to ask me to give this speech on behalf of alumni to graduates. I'm very excited and honored to give this speech. Professor Eden Wu asked me to share a few words with graduates about the life after graduate from AIT. I think about it. Yeah, there do some things I want to share with you guys. The first things I want to share is dream high, achieve higher. Now I'm a professor in Hong Kong University of Science and Technology in Hong Kong. When I ask myself, when I set up in my mind to be a professor, you may not believe, when I was 8 years old and grade 3, I was a monitor for the class. So I responsible collecting assignments and ask students to behave and tell them what to do, not to do, and ask students to raise up when the teacher come to the classrooms or leave the classrooms. I was so proud of myself. You know, I can instruct a whole bunch of kids, listen to me. One day, we watched a movie. I forgot the title of the movie. And I saw a uncle, right, giving a lectures in a big classrooms with stairs, in the classroom with stairs. And all the people in the classroom listen to him and follow his instructions and taking the notes. I asked my teacher, oh, what's his job? My teacher told me, he's a professor in the university. And that time I said, oh, I want to be him. Why? Because I can, instruct adults, whole bunch of adults, ask them to listen to me, show respect to me, follow my instructions. After 25 years fighting, I finally got offer in HKUST as assistant professor, achieve my dream. So that's the thing. You have set up your goal higher. Of course, people will say, oh, when you set up a goal higher, if you cannot achieve it, you feel discouraged, finally, maybe you lost, right? Yes, be realistic. When you set up your goals, especially after you graduate, right? And then set up the goal together with milestones. What I can achieve in 1 year, what I achieve in 5 years, in 10 years, right? What do I want? With your well-planned goals and milestones and your hard working, all your effort, I think you will be there. But if you set up a goal not that high, you can achieve within 1 year, and just get a job, right? So like people say, oh, okay, then first year I get a job. Then what's next? Then you have to really plan, and you lost your main directions. And after 1 more years, you plan ahead, right? So this make your life complicated. Second, be brave. Why? AIT gave us enough training and knowledges. I still remember the first English presentation I did in Professor Katana's class. When I gave the presentation, I looked down and murmured my words out because I was scared, And Professor Katana immediately found out, asked me, Lei, did you do your homework? I said, yes. Did you know the topic? I said, yes. Did you survey everything and in the literature? I said, yes. So what are you afraid of? You know the topic, you know everything. An audience, they don't know. Even you say something wrong, they don't know. They will not point out. What are you afraid of? Yeah. I started to understand, right? So with this kind of encouragement and training, I finished my presentation successfully. I was the only student get A+ in Professor Katana's class. I was very happy. So you see, like with this kind of training and encouragement, AIT already trained us, be strong enough to handle all type of the risk. So don't be afraid of. So taking about the risk. So high risk path, the low risk path. People say, let's take the low risk path. But I will encourage people to take a high risk path. Why? Recently, I watched a video. There's a reporter interview a few senior people, on the street randomly. And he asked the same questions. What do you feel most regret things that you did not do when you were young, right? Most of the seniors, right, like all of them, they are talking about the same thing. They said, I feel regretted. I did not take the risk when I was young. Now it's hard for me to take any risk now because time is not enough, right? But you are young, right? Just graduate. The high risk path fail. You lose time and efforts. Not a big deal. You gain experience, and you based on the experience, like what you should do, what you should not do, you can restart and achieve your goal. So be brave because AIT train yourself and be stronger and mature enough to handle all the difficulties. So take the high risk. You will gain finally. Third, be patient, right? So life is hard. Even you set up a goal, you gave the milestones, and it's a lot of difficulties, hassles along the path, right? People say, like I saw somebody take the shortcut, I want to do the same. I have a student, right? He saw his lab mates publish 10 top conference papers a year. He said, I want to follow him, his working styles, working hours, and how he read paper, what kind of paper he read, even he's trying to simulate, the writing styles. And then, of course, right after 1 year, my student did not get any publications. He felt frustrated, asked me. I said, come on, you are unique. You're good at programming. You're good at, data analysis. Why you don't use strengths? Why you follow others' paths? In this world, you are unique, right? We cannot find another person exactly like you. So if you follow others, I mean, of course, there's difficulties, right? And they can handle it, but you may not be able to. So follow your own steps, follow your own schedule, be patient, and you'll be there. When I talk about be patient, I always like saying it in Thai. Right? In Thai, be patient will be Jia Yan Yan, if I remember correctly. So why I like it? Because Jia in Chinese is like add, right? So that means you add your strengths, your effort step by step. Follow your own schedule, you'll be there. Last, I like to express my feeling, say like after graduations, you should enjoy your life. Life is so long and the world is so big. There's so many things waiting for us to explore. And during the past, you're fighting for your goals. Do remember to share with your friends and your family and about your sorrow, your happiness. Love your friends, your family, and also, appreciate any help, support from your family and friends. Only when you share and appreciate, then when you know what exactly the goal, why, and you should fight for this, right? And you're starting to enjoy life and at the same times achieve your goal you set up. So last, I want to congrats all the graduates again. Congratulations. I have to say, you survived in AIT. You can survive anywhere in the world, right? So remember, dream high, achieve higher, be patient, be brave to take risk, and enjoy your life. Okay, all the best. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, guests, ladies and gentlemen, our doctoral graduate from the School of Engineering and Technology, Dr. Chu Lianen, will deliver a brief message on behalf of all doctoral graduates.
Honorable Chief Guests, Excellencies, AIT President, faculties, families, friends, and fellow graduates. Good morning, everyone. I'm very excited and humbled to have the chance to give a speech on behalf of all doctorate graduates. Like many of you, before coming to AIT, I didn't know much about AIT at all. I had so many questions and wondering to myself, what will it look like? What will I become? How is life there? How are the people? Well, eventually, all those questions were answered. Today, after years of ups and downs, we can finally and confidently tell the world we graduated from AIT. As we look forward to the future, let's not forget to celebrate of the great memories we made at AIT. We can celebrate all those sleepless nights due to assessment and other deadlines. Those long nights are what got us to today, to this day of joy. We should also celebrate our friends from different nations and backgrounds. The friendship we have made make us part of a global family. Today is not only for us, but it's also a day to say thank you to all the friends we met and stay with us. Without their encouragement, help, and love we all had got here. I, myself, especially appreciate the one crazy enough to listen to all my musician announcing talking and give back to me their own musing announcing talking. I have to tell them that often it really was nonsense to me due to my not so perfect English. Let us thank our professors who shared the lifelong communication of knowledge with us without reservation. Let us also thank all the staff and being so professional and efficient. They are a big part of our achievement today. Let us thank our beloved family who has supported us and respect us in all of the decisions and dreams. Most of all, let us thank AIT for providing us with the opportunity and motivation that will contribute to our growth in the future. Before closing my speech, I'd like to share with you some of the best things in life. A welcome run after long drought, meeting new friends in alien land, passing that last exam, finishing your study, and achieving your life goals. Luckily, we are all now experiencing some of those moments. Please enjoy this time. We are all leaving AIT soon, but we are going to be in different parts of the world. Let's keep part our hearts with AIT and give back when we have a chance. Congratulations all of the graduates of 2021. May your future be as bright as the smiles on your faces today.
Thank you, and that concludes the 136th graduation ceremony.